Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. I just saw something that was, for me personally, was very disturbing about the future of the Xbox Scorpio and Phil Spencer's vision for where he would like to see Microsoft continue to take the Xbox brand name. After watching this, I mean, I think it's finished. For me, as far as my interest in gaming as it relates to what Microsoft sees as the future, I'm going down a very different road, and it looks like Sony is as well, although who knows, I mean, they could follow suit if it becomes the in-trend or thing. But I saw this video. I was watching some friend of mine gave me a link to a video, so I'll watch it on my TV. It was a long, hour-long video. I'll sit on my TV and via the PS4 Pro watch YouTube and watch this video. So I'm watching, and I was just about to exit. I said, I'll just look at any of the. I usually watch the, I guess, recommended channels and videos and news feed, and I just quickly scanned. Right at the beginning, I saw this thing. Let me see if I can make sure I get it right. I'm really flustered over this. This really was very disturbing to me, and very telling of where I think a lot of it's going. And it's the beginning of the end for me. You see, it was Ghost Robo is the name of the channel, and it says Xbox Scorpio, no more single player and Netflix for games, question mark. In fact, I subbed to them after this video. I just saw that. I've seen a couple of their videos in the past. I'll have a link for this video below, and I recommend that you watch it very carefully from beginning to end. It's only 10 minutes long, unlike this video, which should probably be longer. But it goes, and it was done on May 3rd, 2017. God, it already has 95,000 some odd views. And he gets into talking about how Phil Spencer has a vision for how he wants to see the Xbox brand and kind of go more in the way of the cloud and more of a subscription-based, deal. He alluded to thinks games are too hard and no one plays single-player, big, long games anymore. I mean, everything that I'm into, he put right down a checklist and went against what I'm into. Now, I know we live in the age where everyone plays Destiny, and Tom Clancy's The Division, and a lot of these big games, and The Crew, and Need for Speed, which didn't do real well, but a lot of these online only games, and it seems like Xbox is clearly going the way of everything is going to be online, and they're really pushing this cloud thing. And I've mentioned many times my favorite exclusives. Gears are okay. I want to actually replay Gears 1 and 2. And then, who knows, maybe I'll even play the other ones after that. I had Gears 1 and 2, and I did play part of Gears 1 and liked it, but I was playing so many things at the time when I first got my 360, I never really gave it a chance, but nothing really wowed me about it to where it's like, oh God, this is the greatest game ever. I thought that the weapons didn't feel like they had a lot of punch to them. I thought the graphics were very pretty, and I liked the chainsaw, gimmick on the gun and all that. It was pretty cool, but I just couldn't really get into it. I'm not a Halo fan. I played Halo 2, maybe the first third of the game, and I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like the kind of plasticky big guns, and everything looked the same. Every level looked the same to me, and then playing against the weird little insect-type creatures. I don't know what it was. It just didn't do it for me, and I know that I'm going to probably step on people's feelings because I know Halo is extremely well-liked. But anyway, Halo and Gears are really not my big Xbox exclusives. I did like the Alan Wake game. And I really like the Forza series. I love Forza 2 and Forza Motorsport 4 in particular. I love these games. Great series. Starting with the original Forza, and Forza Horizon quickly became my #1 racing game of all time. I love this game. I have the second one on the Xbox 360. I wouldn't buy an Xbox One or the second game for the Xbox One because I did not like the forced online gimmick of drivatars. At least make it optional. Crackdown is my second favorite exclusive next to Forza. This game I wouldn't even touch because the box art looks so shitty. And like I kept seeing this in the bargain bin. What is this Crackdown? Is this a comic book thing? What the hell is this? And then I watched Mark Bussler did a review, and he felt exactly the same way. And he took a chance on it and loved it and raved about it. Well, since then, I've played this game and absolutely adore it. I've got all the DLC for it. A fantastic game. My good buddy Angel gave me Crackdown 2, which is kind of the same city or map, but just with zombies and some different mechanics. And I'm anxious to play this, but I love Crackdown. So when I heard that they're going to have this, they're in development, oh, we're going to have a brand new Crackdown 3, or maybe it's a Crackdown reboot, I was very excited, very excited. I said, that's it, I'll have to get an Xbox One. God, with it, just imagine how the new Forza will look. And Crackdown, well, both of my favorite franchises, they've ruined. Online force gimmicks on this one, which, you can get past, and apparently now you can adjust the intensity or aggression of your drivatars, and I think you can even take the little names off, toggle them off, which is good. So I'd like to give it a chance based on the input I've got from a few friends, but this cloud thing won't work. They said, no, you technically can play it offline, you just won't be able to bring a city to its knees, a lot of the features won't be available to you, and to me that's a big slap in the face for someone that enjoys offline games as much as I do. So it doesn't work for me. It's a shame. And I'm watching this guy's video this morning, it's Ghost Robo, and he's showing really good footage of this new Crackdown 3, and it looks beautiful. It looks like the perfect game for me. But God forbid we give someone a big single-player campaign. Now, Phil Spencer had a couple quotes in the guy, and what I did is I just took a picture of the quotes on the screen, and I'll read some of these quotes because I find that they're quite interesting and quite telling of Phil Spencer. The first one here, let me see if I can read it with my old man glasses. Blow it up a little bit here, let's see. It says, the audience for these big story-driven games, I won't say isn't as large, but they're not as consistent. You'll have things like Zelda or Horizon Zero Dawn that come out, and they'll do really well, but they don't have the same impact that they used to have because the big service-based games are capturing such a large amount of the audience. Well, I don't know that I agree with that, for starters, but and it says, Phil goes on to say, Sony's first-party studios do a lot of these games, and they're good at them, but outside of that, it's difficult. They're becoming more rare. It's a difficult business decision for those teams. You're not fighting into more headwind. Internally, Microsoft had Quantum Break last year, a big-budget, narrative-driven game with no online multiplayer and 0 post-launch add-ons. It was a unicorn for Microsoft if there ever was one. We've got to understand that if we enjoy those games, the business opportunity has to be there for them, he said. Now, the Quantum Break does look very interesting. If I got an Xbox One, I would be very tempted to play that game because I like the studio that made it. I guess it was Remedy that made the Max Payne games. I love the Max Payne and Alan Wake games. So based on that, I was willing to give it a chance, and I saw past the jaded, typical mixed reviews, and I could see that I could have fun with that game. I like the manipulate, kind of like Time Shift. You can kind of, I guess, manipulate time and use it to your advantage, and it's got a lot of heavy, set piece type deals and lots of heavy cutscenes and all that, but overall it looked good. It was actually one of the few games I would like, although they seem to put it down here. Phil Spencer goes on to say a few other things. Let me see what this one says here. Pardon me while I get my phone here. I'm trying to get my phone to where I can read these quotes. And it says, I've looked at things like Netflix and HBO, where great content has been created because there is this subscription model. Shannon Loftus and I are thinking a lot about, well, could we put story-based games into the Xbox Game Pass business model that you have a subscription going? Game Pass is still in its infancy, but the pitch is that for $10 a month you'll get access to over 100 games from the Xbox 360 and Xbox One back catalog. It's supposed to launch sometime this year. Now again, I don't know if this is like the PlayStation Now where you have to play it online via kind of a constant online capability. That I don't know. If I could own these games and somehow download them and own them permanently, especially older games from the Xbox 360 library, like I just mentioned in my last rant, I would be very much inclined to get an Xbox One S or an Xbox Scorpio just so I could play slightly better performing versions of my favorite Xbox 360 games and maybe even a couple 8th gen Xbox One games. I think that's fine. I'm not opposed to it. I'm looking for a reason to get the Xbox One, but after what I saw today, it may take a shovel to my plans. I'm really, really dismayed. I gotta pull up my thing here, my gallery again. Still going to try to get used to these smartphones. Then he goes on to say, the storytelling ability in TV today is really high, and I think that's because of the business model. I hope as an industry we can think about the same, he said. Subscription services might spur new story-based games coming to market because there's a new business model to help support their monetization. Well, he's getting into, he really liked the Telltale games, The Walking Dead, and I guess Game of Thrones isn't, it's either out or it's in the works or something. I don't like the show myself, but I know it's very popular. So, and the other fellow from Ghost Robo is going on to say that he likes the simplicity of these, kind of point-and-click adventure deals, or I guess I call it quick-time events. Where he sees that the games are getting too hard, and he wants to appeal to a broader base, the more casual gamer. So they're wanting to lean more towards these simplistic kind of episodic games. I think that's another reason why he likes it. They can release something new, every month or every other month or so. Let me see what else he has to say here. I'm going to try to read all these quotes first and put my 2 cents in. It's why I really applaud teams like the Telltale Games who have taken an interesting approach to narrative-driven games. They pick stories that people already know, like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, and build a mechanic that's accessible. From a core standpoint, we may say, it's a kind of quick-time events, is that a real game? But if you think about broadening the audience, here we go, broadening the audience. This is appealing to the masses. Let's make it all things to all people. And that's when you ruin things when you do that. Oh, I just lost my deal. I just lost it. Here it is. Okay. So anyway, if you think about the broadening of the audience, you can assume that someone can left-click down on the stick and hold the right trigger, then hit Y over and over in order to solve a problem. As developers, we need to think about how to broaden our audience. In other words, that's too hard. He wants to do something perhaps even easier. So we're getting down to where games are getting easier and easier and easier over time. Let me see, is that the final quote? This is the final quote that I had captured here. We've got to understand that if we enjoy those games, the business opportunity has to be there for them. I love story-based games. I just finished LucasArts-inspired Thimbleweed Park, whatever that is. I have no idea what that is. I thought it was a fantastic game. Inside was probably my game of last year. I think it's an indie game. As an industry, we want to make sure both narrative-driven single-player games and service-based games. I'm getting a phone call right when I'm trying to focus on here. So I hate these phones. I like the computer aspect, but I don't like constantly being interrupted and shit popping up on my screen, and it sidetracks me. Where was I? As an industry, I want to make sure that both narratives-driven single-player games and service-based games have the opportunity to succeed. I think it's critical for us. Well, that's all I had in the way of captured quotes, but he wants to take Xbox apparently in its own direction. He wants to, kind of like the Nintendo did with the Switch, it created a hybrid of sorts, and it's done fairly well with it apparently. It's done well with some of the Mario Kart games. Some games that launched with the system have done quite well. What'll be the long-term success of it in terms of sales, who knows? But and I'll preface everything again. I started off being a huge original Xbox fan. I liked how Microsoft wanted to do something really cool and original with gaming and kind of created really the first kind of PC-type console. And I loved the graphics. Unfortunately, the sales didn't do well with it. But Microsoft learned. They went on to develop the Xbox 360. Now, I've never had a Red Ring of Death. I've owned 3 Xbox 360s. The Xbox 360 is my favorite modern console. And the reason why it's my favorite versus the PS4 is because most of those games you can play offline now or 20 years from now. I had a wonderful Xbox Live Arcade library, which I've got carefully relicensed all my games to my new 500 gig E model. And I'm hoping that, with not one but 2 brand new Xbox 360s. Even if my new one takes a shit down the road, I could take the hard drive out, put it into my other brand new one that's in a box, and it should work. In theory, I should be able to continue to play these games forever, even if Microsoft goes offline with the Xbox 360. Sure, some games would require, like Dead Island or whatever, would require patches, or you might have a real difficult time playing those games, but for the most part, 85+% of the Xbox 360 library you can still play for years to come. That's why I like it. I'm all about offline gaming. Now, the only time I ever tried online gaming was with this 7th gen. I did a little bit of Twisted Metal, 2011 or so, whenever it was, on the PlayStation 3, but most of my racing stuff was with, Forza Motorsport 4, and I think I played a little bit of Forza Horizon, the first one, and I did Need for Speed The Run, mostly racing games, and played a bunch of them online, and I enjoyed aspects of it. I never tried any shooters, to be honest, that I can remember online, but I just don't like online gaming, and I know it's highly popular. I know that people probably can't understand. I still have people all the time, oh, Dean, hey, I want to play, the new Call of Duty when it comes out. You'll have to give me your sign-on, and so we can play, co-op online and stuff. And I appreciate those kind of friend requests to play games online, but I'm not interested. It's hard for me to line the planets up to even sit down to play a single-player game, let alone to try to play online with my buddy that's back east with a 3-hour time difference, and he's got a specific window, and I've got a specific window. The odds are so slim to line all the planets. It's like waiting for all the stoplights to turn green before you leave the house. It's just not in the cards for me. But I have many friends that love Destiny and love these giant, huge, corpulent, online-only games. And they're happy to play those. And if the game goes offline and they can't play it anymore, by then they're playing something else, and that's fine for you. For me, it doesn't work. Sometimes I'll buy a game and I don't even play it. Like L.A. Noire I bought, didn't even play it till a year and a half later. And then I sat down and played the game all the way through, plus all the DLC. So someone like me to buy a game like The Crew, I might sit on it for a couple of years going to play it. Oh, now the game's it's offline. It's off. It's no longer on the servers. And I've mentioned this many times. I can't get into anything that's a here today, gone tomorrow thing. Even seasonal McDonald's sandwiches and stuff, I won't do it. If I can't have it anytime I want, I don't want it at all. That's just me. So yeah, I'm kind of antiquated with my view of gaming, but I'm 54 years old. I know what I like, and I know what I don't. I like deep single-player games. Fallout 4, Mad Max. I'm looking forward to sitting down and playing, Fallout 3 and New Vegas all the way through. Giant games that take, 60 hours, 100, 250 hours to play all the way through. Those are the types of games that I like. I love meaty single-player games, and I'm hearing now that Microsoft, in the future, in the very near future, is wanting to move away from that. That's not very enticing for me to, frankly, buy into their consoles and start collecting Xbox One games. I don't know that I want one now. I am really frustrated. If I buy one, an Xbox Scorpio or the One S or whatever, it will be just to play Forza, and really, to be honest, just a little bit better versions of my favorite Xbox 360 games, and that's it. I am not the least bit interested in where it's going down the road. This is going to kill gaming. Sony's going to kill. They're going to make sure that Sony is going to be the ultimate winner here. If Phil continues with this, again, people are into what's new. It's going to be the latest thing. Everyone's into streaming. Just again, this weekend, my wife and I sat down. We got on this HBO Now or Go or something that we have. Some new thing. Oh, we can watch movies for free. That's cool, So we put a few on our queue. One of the movies I just put in a week and a half ago, we wanted, hey, let's sit down. Let's watch that movie I got in the queue. I've been dying to watch it. My wife and I both wanted to watch it. We sit down last night. It's gone. It's no longer available. That's why I like physical media. I like to watch what I want, when I want, anytime I want. That's why I buy physical media. That's why I buy, the $6 Million Man. I get every season. I can watch them now, 35 years from now, and without worrying about the damn streaming service. Friday night, we tried to stream some Netflix movies, and the fucking streaming went down again. It goes down constantly. To me, it's not there yet. Maybe in 5 years it'll be there, and even if it is, I don't care for streaming things. I like to watch some documentaries and some films on Netflix because it's convenient. Most of them I already have in my library anyway, but I prefer physical media. Physical media that I can watch anytime I want, anywhere I want. I'm taking on a vacation, bring a little lightweight DVD player with me, grab a few things, and I got something to watch, at a hotel room if I don't like what's on their HBO deal. I just got this flat out, 4 game, an outstanding game. I got physical media, not that it matters. I mean, technically this just becomes a key to, to download the latest version online, but at least Sony lets me play my games off. I've never had PlayStation Plus. I don't need it. I don't need Xbox Gold because all I need are the patches and the DLC, and I can get those all day long without PlayStation Plus. Even PlayStation Plus, the supposed free games you get, are only free if you keep paying their money for their subscription thing. The minute you stop, you lose access to all those games. It doesn't work for me. I'm old-fashioned. I know what I like. I like physical media. The fact that I can play this game tomorrow, today, 20 years from now on a console that I can plug in and it works, that's what's exciting to me. I will boycott any of this subscription thing. I think that this will kill Microsoft in the future. Yes, many gamers don't care and will be just happy to play their dumbed-down, casual gamer games that are like Sea of Thieves looks interesting. Kind of a heavy cartoon feel, but that's another big one. That more Destiny to come. There's many of these type of giant MMO type games that people are going to be all over, and there'll always be a market for that. But please don't do it at the expense of good single player gaming. And so this is what I'm hearing from Microsoft. And so it's almost like it's a reason, their excuse for why they don't have any big exclusives coming out. It's almost like we're not even going to try, or instead we're just going to make a subscription-based thing and have smaller, simpler, dumber games to play that more people will like. That way everyone can get in on it. Old people, young people, kids, something for everyone. They're trying to be all things to all people. And anytime you take a restaurant that does that specializes in just wonderful Mexican food or Italian food or Chinese food, and then all of a sudden they start having hamburgers, and you go to an Italian place and they're trying to bring in more things that might appeal to the average person, it loses its uniqueness. It loses what made it great. When things concentrate on what they do best, they really do well with it and clean up. I think the PlayStation 4, and possibly the PlayStation 5 down the road, if they continue making games you can play online and especially offline, and big, robust, single-player, meaty games that I can get in, like Zero Horizon Dawn has done very well. Uncharted 4 has done very well. I don't know where Phil Spencer seems to think that no one's playing single-player games. I heard the same crap from EA with their weak excuse for the Battlefront game, which is why I boycotted the game initially. I said, it doesn't work for me. Don't tell me that no one plays single-player games. Bullshit. And it's not just me, an old fuck like me. Many of my friends love heavy-duty single-player games. Even some of my buddies like, Solid Rev, which I thought just liked nothing but online multiplayer, but more and more I find out that the things that they really find themselves enjoying the most are really heavy-duty single-player campaigns like Max Payne 3 or Doom or anything that's newer. You can go in and roll your sleeves up and have a blast, and to me that's what it's all about. I love my, Sniper Elite game. I'm dying to play this new Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. There's so many other wonderful games. Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out later. And maybe even this Call of Duty 2, if they don't, make it too politically correct, and it's more of a return to old school, FPS action with World War II assets and stuff. It's going to be fantastic. That's what I'm interested in. Even if it has a 5-hour campaign, I will buy it. Pay the 60 or 80 bucks just for that campaign. I don't care about the online multiplayer. Don't force me to go down a subscription road. Not all of us want to do that. So this is my it's my own viewpoint. Please let me know in the comments how you feel. Now, I have many friends that love Microsoft, and right off the bat, I'm going to give this video a thumbs down. This is bullshit. Well, I don't care whether you give the thing a thumbs down or a thumbs up. It doesn't matter to me. But what matters to me is that I'm understood for my own reasons. If you understand my reasons and you validate anything that I've said, let me know in the comments with your own 2 cents on it, perspective. If you think I'm wrong and you think that the future is subscription gaming, let me know in the comments why. Why do you think that that is the future? Why do you think that that will be more important and more relevant than big offline single-player games? I genuinely would like to know. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I love my favorite console and games to collect are the original Xbox and Xbox 360 games. I'm in absolute heaven on those systems with those games. But I'm not a blind loyalist. I mean, if General Motors, which I followed and liked their cars for years, when they start making cars that I don't like or can't get into, I'm not going to continue to buy them. I'll start driving a Dodge or something else instead. What I do is I buy what works for me. I'm loyal to a point, to a particular brand. It's nice to have your favorite shoe company or to have your favorite console, your favorite automobile or clothing lines and restaurants, and that's fine. We all like what we like, and we like to feel loyal to a particular brand, especially if you get a big library of games. I got a lot of Xbox 360 games. I got 150 to 200 games now, a lot of them. And I love my collection, but it's not. But I still collect PlayStation 3 games and other ones too. I buy what works for me. I buy the things that I like. And with the next generation, if the 9th generation, if Microsoft changes their tune and instead all of a sudden comes out with fantastic exclusives and wonderful single-player games, and Sony doesn't, guess what? I'll be going back to Microsoft. I go with what works for me and what's popular. Yes, it's nice in an ideal world to own all the consoles and all the games and the gaming PCs and to pick and choose. But unfortunately, I'm not in that situation anymore. I have to be much more careful with my money. And I have to think about what's valuable to me and what I can invest in now that will be there 2, 3, 4 years from now or 20 years from now. I don't know whether I'll be able to play my PlayStation 4 Pro, 10 or 20 years from now offline. I'd like to think that I can, or somehow keep my hard drive and keep moving it from one console to the next. Keeping all my games that I've paid for. I'd like to believe that I can do that. I don't know. I'm very confused with where this current 8th gen is going, and especially the 9th gen, but I'm telling you right now, I just cannot get into this subscription-based, cloud-based gaming. I will definitely bail. I'll have nothing to do with it, and I won't lose any sleep over it. Oh, Dean, you're missing out on these great games. Well, if the games are dumbed down and made more for the casual gamer, which technically I probably am a casual gamer with the very few hours of gaming that I can put in right now, but I used to be a hardcore gamer. I would invest every day, tired, not tired. I would come home and put 5 to 7 hours a night into my games. I just can't do it anymore. Does it mean I'm a casual gamer? I don't know. All I know is I think about gaming all the time, and I think about keeping my legacy of these 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th gen games going well into the future. So someday I can return to Mad Max and finish it. But if all of a sudden that's only off a cloud or a server and I go to, what, I can't play my game anymore? Well, that sucks. Well, I might as well delete that one from my file. It's 250 hours down the toilet for nothing. It doesn't work for me. So anyway, that's my spiel on it. Very, very disconcerting. I don't know the future of what really is going on with Microsoft, but these quotes from Phil Spencer. And again, watch this video that I'll link. It's only 10 minutes long. It's worth your 10 minutes. It's very telling of what's coming, and I just frankly can't abide by it and get into it at all. Let me know in the comments how you feel. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, and enjoy your gaming no matter what it is. Thanks.